We saw this lady back in week number 3 at Stones Lanes, again at week number 7 at LaRue Lanes, and now you're seeing her for week number 10. Caroline Hoffman, the queen of bowling for week number 10. Caroline, glad to have you back. Caroline, let me ask you one thing. You rolled a 714 here at Green Hills, obviously progressing all the way through the season. What are you, really on top of your game?
Yeah, I've been practicing a lot, and the one girl I bowl with, she helps me a lot.
Now, 714, that's almost good enough to qualify you on the guys tour. How long do you think it's going to be before we see a woman on the BPA King of Bowling?
I've been trying really hard, but it just hasn't come about yet.
Well, I'll tell you, for your efforts, you pick up your 3rd check for $200 this year, and come back and see us before it's all over, okay?
Thank you very much.
Game number 2. There you see it, the weapons of war.
Oh. The setup, Terry Saccone, a winner in the first match over Tim Sharp, 232 to 179. His opponent, a man we've never seen on the BPA, Steve Harthun. This is Sack. Sack is back, right, for game number 2, and he leaves the 10-pin standing, Dave.
That's what we keep hearing. Every time Terry starts to bowl well, he starts saying the sack is back. I'm not too sure he ever goes away.
He's never left, really.
Well, then shall we say it's the sack attack?
Oh,
Sack attack.
Sack attack.
Well, they're averaging 215 on the show so far. It must be sack attack.
Well, he takes a 216 average in. His league average is 216. Sam, 12 sanctioned 300 games.
He's rolled a lot of them, I know that. I watched him bowl 2 of them, and he had them all 12 solid in a 1-3 pocket. Even Bud Bosom, a veteran, sitting right there behind him. Well, like that.
Saccone rolling for 20 years. This is Steve Harthun, 28-year-old computer operations supervisor from Fort Wright, Kentucky. And he opens with a nice big X, Dave.
Fried the 5, medium rare. It was an excellent shot to open the match. Never been on TV before. Who cares?
That's right. Pressure? What's pressure to these guys?
Pressure? No pressure. Everybody's out here having fun. There's no pressure.
That's right. We're going to have the champions mixed couple here starting May the 30th.
Big southpaw. Harthun.
Split screen. You saw the reaction there. He was trying to give the ball a little bit of help to get it up the body. Yeah.
Didn't work. Leaves the 3.
Relatively easy spare. Center of the lane, so to speak.
Dave and Sam, I guess, Sam, you could probably explain this a little more. The 2 pillars we see, the one right behind Harthun, how much in play do they come? Obviously, you don't see them in the newer lanes, but how much in play have they come in over the years?
I had a little experience with that pull on between 4 and 5 there. When I opened it up here, you got to keep your left arm in tight, I'll tell you, when you shoot the 10-pin anyway.
You know, you can equate it to, Tommy, like a lot of golf courses. There's a couple of holes that are a little more difficult than others, and you just have to compete with the conditions.
Trip 4 for Sack. How about that? You know, though, it's like the old movie theaters as opposed to the cinemas with the cinder block walls. There's character about this lane, Dave.
Completely different feeling as we're going to watch the 4-pin get edged out with the neck. There it goes. Get out of here. It's strike time. Terry Saccone is going to be consistent, I'm sure, because he's lined up on both lanes, feels fairly comfortable. We're going to see a match.
Our 31-year-old supervisor from AT&T just can't.
Incredible.
Just can't push over the 8.
Incredible. Super, super shot. That's the second 8-pin we've seen on the left lane so far. Typically, you're not going to see an 8-pin, except if the pins may be a little off spot or the bowler throws the ball a little too hard. Now, either thing can cause it, but he actually made a good shot. It was right in the hole. 8-pin, easy spare.
Oh! Nothing, Dave, is easy in this game.
I think I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
Really? Oh.
Until they're in the pit.
On the Champion of Champions, the men's going to bowl at Stones and Harrison Bowl start May the 28th, and the ladies will all be over at Madison Bowl on May the 28th.
Saccone's still wondering about that shot, hoping Harthun doesn't take too much advantage of it.
Look at that.
Rings in, though, from the second board, Dave.
Not quite out that far, but he's flirting with the red channel of disaster.
Steve Harthun, never in all the years of the BPA has he been on a TV appearance. So there's always a first time, Dave, and After today, he'll never be able to say that again.
You know, Sam, that's what's great about the format here. It's 3 games. Come out, bowl the best you can, and you know what? There's no real advantage to being an excellent bowler, because in a 3-game period, anybody can shoot almost any kind of a score.
Over the 20. Well, in the third frame, Saccone's got 48, and technically Steve will have 59, so it'll be 11-pin spread, really. Well, over the years, Dave, we've had a lot of, I wouldn't say star bowlers qualify, but we've had the average bowler get on, which makes our shows sensational.
Right, right. The talented bowlers, the ones that bowl a lot of tournaments, naturally we're going to see them, but it's not isolated to them, Tom. Heck, a guy like you might even...
Well, I wouldn't push it. I mean, we all have our limitations, and you see, Dave, the key is to realize your limitations, and hence you never see me out there trying. You see, that would be difficult. For you, we could put a microphone on you, and you could be up to the line. We'll take our chances at what you say.
Really? Well, I bet on 15 times. I win 14 out of 15.
That's not bad, Sam.
No.
I don't want to talk about my record.
Percentage?
What is this today?
I think we better call spare practice, I think.
Sam, I tell you what, we've seen more single pin spare misses today than we've seen in the balance of the year.
You're not kidding either.
You know, if Bobby Knight, the coach of Indiana, were watching this match today, he'd have these guys shooting spares until midnight tonight.
Really?
If he saw them missing them like that. 1 pin spare. Oh, Saccone off that open in the third.
You don't have to shoot spares that way. That's where you want to get them X's.
That is, of course, unless he was throwing chairs.
That's true. Well, you know, when you throw a chair down the lane, you have a better chance of wiping out all 10 than you do when you just have that little 16-pound ball.
I think that would be illegal procedure, wouldn't it, or something like that?
Something like that.
Terry Saccone, you can see the concern on his face. He knows that he can't count on his competition to open up all the time. He wants it. He wants it bad. Should see a good shot out of him right here. And there it is.
That ball.
A can opener, we call that one. Just split the rack in half.
Oh, that was a super shot there.
Now, Saccone trying to do what 2 other men have done in the past 3 weeks, and that's win all 3 matches.
That's right. Let's take a look at that shot here. Oh,
well, we'll take a look at it later on. Right. This is game 2. BPA King of Bowling, week number 10, Terry Saccone against Steve Harthun, and we'll be back with the BPA right after this.
It is the season for Ludwig Hudy Bock beer. Every spring, the resource
Dave Newrath, she belongs all to you. A darling lady.
Yeah, it's our little girl, Sam.
And then daughter, and there's Brian. That's Bo's darling son, too. Look at his scoreboard here. Sack's got 48 in a double, and Steve's has got 67 in a fourth.
Oh, Dave.
Awesome.
That one. A blast that just did not bring down that 6-pin.
Well, it's Steve's first time. He's a little tight. I think he'll get looser in a few minutes.
Speaking of tight, we're going to be on a tight time schedule today. We're going to be at the Junior Traveling League Banquet. For whatever reason, they've asked me to give some sort of a speech out there, so we're going to try to corrupt a lot of young people.
Words of wisdom, I'm sure, from a man who's seen it all, Dave Newrath. As Harthun takes out the 1 pin in the 5th. And both men right now, an open frame. Game 2 here. Steve Harthun is 28-year-old.
Dave does a good job as a Toastmaster. I recommend him.
Okay. Do you?
Yeah.
Are you saying
does a super job.
Tongue-in-cheek, or is
well, when you don't get paid for the job, he does a super job.
That's right.
I work cheap.
That's right. If you don't have to pay him, sure.
Look at that.
Great job.
How about that?
Oh, Harthun puts them all in the pit again.
Going to take a look at it here. The competitors, Steve, Terry Saccone, both boys just knuckled in, going forward here. I think down the stretch we're going to see much better execution as the game progresses. And We've seen some sloppy bowling up to right now from both bowlers, but as the big $750 check approaches,
this game appears against the man who has won the past 2 weeks, trying to become, as I said, the first three-time winner this year since Ray Tucky Perez back in weeks 3, 4, and 5, George Barlow. Now, what Barlow did 2 weeks ago is what Saccone's trying to do today, and that's win 3 straight matches.
You see what Terry did that time? He watching the balls go across the lane rather than to play the normal amount of hook. Sam, he just throws the ball harder and straighter, and therefore trying to just bypass the condition. A good move on today's shot.
Well, good experience. I'll tell you, he learned a lot. There's a lot of way to play lanes. Line bowl, spot bowl, area ball, you know, and that's what this game's all about.
Saccone revving it up.
He really strapped that ball. Tommy, you picked it up right there. He went through that ball with a lot of authority. Maybe we can catch it here on the replay. Let's watch his face. He wants this shot. He gives it all of it. He even grunts a little bit there.
Look at that.
Look at it. Center of the screen, head pin going to the wall, coming off, kicking the 4 as it often does, and then into the 7. Terry Saccone is lined up.
Watching Harthun.
Oh.
Solid pocket, Dave.
You talk about Wallies, you talk about rip racks. Still, to date, nothing has replaced the full pocket 10 and a pitch shot.
What technically we're practically even if Steve gets to have both will have 117 in his 6th frame when they're both on X's, so it's going to be a contest.
Harthun qualified with a 761 series, Saccone with a 746. We are in Green Hills. We are in week 10. And Sam and Dave, hard to believe, but only 2 weeks to the finals.
I don't want it to
Oh, look at that.
3 straight for Steve Harthun. I don't want it to end either, Sam.
No, time is moving on. Now, Sack's got really good at work now, I'll tell you. He's in a...
Technically 10 pins in the hole. Terry Saccone could even it all up right here with a strike in the 8th frame.
Saccone trying to become the 6th king this year. Alan Downs for 2 weeks, Tucky Perez for 3, Greg Lothian back in week 6, Kerry Logan week 7, George Barlow in week 8 and 9, and you guessed it, we are in
There you go.
And yes, Dave, all of them were doing their job.
Oh, what a shot. He wants this one. Let's take a look at it here if we can. The head pin. Again, keep your eyes on the head pin. Center your screen and the 5 pin. Center your screen. Watch it go to the wall, to the left-hand side, right there. Now, coming off with a little twisting action, it says 5 pin. No way, we catch you later. All tied up.
Terry Saccone, 9th frame.
Oh.
Dave, what? He just slipped.
The 1 in a million shot, Tom, and it happens to every bowler sooner or later. Let's take a look at it here. He hits his ankle. You cannot see it with a telescope blocking it, but say 1 every 1,000 shots, you will graze your ankle bone, and that's the result. This particular area, catastrophe on a double, lost 10 pins in count. Terry Saccone is now 10 pins down. What a way to come back.
You have to save it like that.
I would say that was a tough 10-pin spare.
Terry will replay that one in his mind, I'm sure. You know, it's funny. You make something like that when no one else is watching, you don't really mind it, but when you have an entire TV audience watching it.
Well, you mind it anytime because it's incredibly painful.
Oh, sure.
Terry's looking back here right now, and he's in a lot of pain.
Look at this.
He's in a lot more pain right now.
Saccone opened the door, and Harthun walked in.
Harthun jumped up by 20 now.
Sam, is that why you used to wear high-top shoes?
That's right, on that ankle. I ricocheted a few of them off her, I tell you. Well, technically... Steve's up by 20 now. He'd have 177, and Saccone have 157 with a spare. And if Steve gets this one, I think that's all she wrote.
Turn out the lights, so to speak?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, since you gentlemen are bearing your souls on this, I have to admit I was out bowling earlier this week, and I did the same thing, but I was a little afraid to admit it because no one was watching it. But yes, it is a painful thing when you hit the back part of your leg.
Well, you know, actually, with a better bowler, it's more of a possibility because, Tom, at the bottom of the swing, the distance between your ankle bone and the ball is probably in the vicinity of 1/4 of an inch to a 1/2 inch away.
When you're bowling real good, you go right by your ankle, I'll tell you.
Yeah, you can feel it graze your pants leg, your sock once in a while.
Yeah, but you see, I'm a right-handed bowler, and I hit my left ankle. And
That is difficult.
Hit your right ankle.
Just kidding.
Oh,
man.
man. Come on.
Oh, wrong foot, Louis. Remember
Yeah,
him?
yeah, Lou can't. How you telling me? You're reading me some of my money.
It's incidental right here.
213's not too bad.
Not too dusty at all.
The best Saccone gets is 207 if he goes out. Oh,
Boy, oh boy.
Ankle shot, 9th frame, critical frame to want to build momentum. It's just a shame. Terry Saccone, a victim of that 1 in 1,000 ball here today.
And of course, with win already in hand, Steve Harthun will head on to meet two-time King George Barlow. Barlow is an interesting study in himself, the way he approaches the line, Dave. We will see all of that in the championship match coming up next.
You know, we're looking at right now the winner of this match, and he's obviously pleased to be going on to the championship match. But Terry Saccone, let's just talk for a minute about Sac. To hit your ankle and then come back and throw 3 super shots the way he's done, you can't say enough about that.
How about that one? So, Steve Harthun, the winner in game number 2 over Terry Saccone, 213 to 206. When we come back, the championship match between Steve Harthun and George Barlow as you take one final look at the big sweeping left-hander, Steve Harthun.